On September 15, 1963, the 16th Street Baptist Church was bombed in Birmingham, Alabama. 4 young girls, Denise McNair, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, and Addie Mae Collins, were killed. The attack was racially motivated by the Ku Klux Klan against the 16th Street Baptist Church, a very active African American church during the Civil Rights Campaign in Birmingham, Alabama. The bombing was meant to disrupt black community activists who had been demonstrating for weeks for an end to segregation in the city, but it had the opposite effect. When the bomb went off that Sunday morning, it killed the 4 young girls who were on their way to a basement assembly hall for closing prayers. 22 others were injured, many of them children that had been in the same group as the girls. The national public's anger and revulsion at the slaughter of children at a place of worship helped build support in the John Kennedy administration for civil rights legislation. The 16th Street Baptist Church had been a rallying point for civil rights activists throughout the spring and summer leading up to the bombing. The activists had finally reached an agreement with local authorities to begin integrating schools, which in turn outraged segregationists and triggered the attack. 4 men who were members of the United Klans of America went to the church and planted 19 sticks of dynamite outside the basement behind the building. The explosion, which occurred around 10:20 that Sunday morning, destroyed the rear end of the building. The steps going outside were destroyed, as were all but one of the church's stained glass windows. Even the windows of the laundromat across the street were blown out, and many cars outside were damaged or destroyed. The public funeral for 3 of the girls attracted over 8,000 people, but not one state or local official attended. The Birmingham Post-Herald reported a month later that in the aftermath of the bombing, no one had been arrested for the incident itself, but 23 African Americans had been arrested for charges ranging from disorderly conduct to being drunk and loitering, mostly in the vicinity of the church. One black youth was even gunned down by police after he threw rocks at passing cars with white passengers. The 4 men responsible for the murders were not charged until years later. Thomas Blanton was convicted in 2001 and is spending the rest of his life in prison. Bobby Frank Cherry was convicted in 2002 and has died in prison. Robert Chamblee was convicted in 1977 and died in prison in 1985, and the 4th, Herman Cash, died in the mid-1990s before charges could be brought against him. This tragic expression of racial hatred was meant to derail the civil rights movement. It did not. Instead, those heinous killings sparked renewed energy among all Americans, blacks and whites, who were and are committed to building a better nation. When I initially heard about the bombing and there were 4 young girls killed, I was immediately enraged. Growing up in the civil rights era, you understand that this could happen at any time if you stand up for equality and fight for your rights. What I've never understood was the hatred that many people had for black Americans. I had an opportunity around 2003 to visit Birmingham on a business trip, and I walked into the doors of the 16th Street Baptist Church and actually broke down in tears to think about what happened there and how these 4 innocent girls were killed for no reason whatsoever other than just pure hatred.